Jackie, hi, I've bounced. I'm sorry I couldn't be here between 5 to 6 p.m. I'll pass again to check on you. Best regard, your Uncle Abed. This was a note I found slipped under my room in the famous Nyayo 1 hostel, Kenyatta University, by my Uncle Abed in the year 2000. Let me take you a while back. March 6th of 1999, the KCSE results had been announced, and I had really passed. In fact, I was short of a clean A by a margin of 0.00001. I had really passed. Everyone was so excited in the village. As a custom, chicken was slaughtered. Everyone celebrated. I was called in all youth groups to be the guest of honor. All the mothers called me to actually explain to their daughters the winning formula I used to pass exams. And grandmothers entrusted me to go and collect money orders from the post office for them. My dad, Alex Kibisu, a very quiet man. His favorite words were Ndi. Ndi is not someone's name in my community. Ndi is a greeting in my mother tongue, meaning, how are you? Was very happy. He actually found a reason to leave because he was fighting a lot of land issues. My mother, Abby, found content, valuable content, to talk to everyone who could listen to her about her daughter passing. From the market to church to everywhere, everyone knew me as that tiny girl who had passed KCSE. She was a nurse, and during off-peak, this was the subject, how Jackie had passed exams. So in that hospital, from the doctors, to the nurses, to the cleaners, to the neighbors, they knew about Jackie. It was a season I didn't want to end. It was such a lovely season. Fast forward, a year later, same time, my dad fell sick and was admitted. Unfortunately, he passed away after 1 week. This was very sad news for us. We couldn't take it. Jackie, on the other hand, I was daddy's little girl. I was shattered. I cried. But when I looked at my mom, I thought she was hurting more. Losing a boyfriend and a husband wasn't easy. So I started making her at least cheer up, despite all this situation. I would follow her. I would encourage her. Every other time, I would just find a story. In fact, that's when I perfected my storytelling skills, just to cheer up my mom. I actually thought she had gotten everything figured out, but I was wrong, very wrong. Because 3 weeks after we buried my dad, my mom collapsed. She was rushed to the hospital, and I followed this crowd that had rushed her to the hospital. I was greeted by people wailing, only to learn my mom had passed away. This was very painful. I don't remember how I reacted. Whether I cried, whether I fainted, I cannot remember what really happened. We went back home, 3 teenagers who'd been left on their own. Of course, when a close-knit family starts having this cloud of death, slowly the family starts disintegrating, more so when they are teenagers. So the 3 of us, Alan had his own rules of how we should run the family. Of course, Oscar, the teenager, had his own ways also, and I had my own rules of what I thought would be good. We actually buried my mom. We had to go through the rituals in my community to bury my mom, and life continued. Still dark, but we had to soldier on. 2 months after we buried my mom, I joined Kenyatta University. I went to study biochemistry course. Never mind, I didn't understand it. I just chose biochemistry because that word looked fancy. You know, biology, chemistry looked very fancy. The only things I could understand were H20, CO2, and O2. I couldn't really understand anything else. My uncle Abeid had really tried to reach out to me, but I blocked him. I blocked everyone who tried to reach out to me. I was angry with God. I was angry with life, but I knew I had to leave. My uncle Abeid decided to write the note I read and slipped it in my door, of which I tried to break the wall that I had built and decided to give him a call. We met, we had a chat, and he asked me, apart from losing my parents, what else was troubling me? And of course, you all know the answer. Biochemistry. I actually repeated the sentence. I cannot understand anything. In fact, I feel like quitting this course. It's only that I can't go home. To my left is my dad's grave, and to my right is my mom's grave. So I can't go. I mean, this is so hard for me. And he talked to me. He looked at my personality and advised me to try and do a transfer to Bachelor of Commerce Marketing, which I did, and I started now enjoying class. One day, as comrades, we decided to throw stones to the administration. We were all given 3 hours to vacate the campus. I packed my bag and went to my Uncle Abeid's house. And I started enjoying life because Abeid to me was a fatherly figure to me. And having come from Western, the village, I enjoyed the aura and the opulence of Nairobi. Somehow, I forgot the cloud that was surrounding me. One day, something came up, and my uncle instructed me to travel home abruptly. Friends, I'll be lying if I tell you I wanted to go straight home. My thoughts were I should alight at Nakuru or Kisumu, or then just come back and say I went and A, B, C, D, then I came back. But I decided to be obedient and traveled. I boarded the famous Akamba bus back to Western and arrived at 5 a.m. in the morning. As I was walking towards our gate, I saw a crowd, and I wondered what that crowd was all about, only to be greeted with this sad news. My elder brother, Alan, had committed suicide and died. According to our Luhya traditions, when you commit suicide, you have to be buried at the wee hours of the morning. We never had time to say goodbyes with Alan. This was happening 6 months after we buried my mom. It was sad. God, where are you? I asked myself so many questions. My heart was full of pain. I didn't know if it was a generational curse or we were paying for some sins our forefathers had committed. We were left with Oscar, my only sibling. This came past, and we were recalled by the administration. They decided to forgive us our sins, and we were recalled back to Kenyatta University. I went through college, and I started working. One day, Oscar, my only remaining sibling, calls me and tells me he has a kid I was shocked because he was only 16. But again, I was happy. At least we were now 3 from 2. In my community, a child belongs to the dad. Even when the dad is a deadbeat, the aunties or the grandmothers and the grandfather have to step in. I knew my time has come to take the mantle and raise Oscar's son. I was happy, confused, but I was glad we were now 3. A few months later, I received a call. I was working at the call center on a night shift. To date, I don't know if the caller didn't have enough airtime, or the network was poor, or this caller did not have skills of how to pass a sad message. Because the message went like, Jackie, Oscar is dead. You need to come and bury him. Friends, I lost hope. I died. Something inside me died that day. I cried. My colleagues helped me go home. And after a few days, we organized ourselves to travel to Western to bury Oscar. It was the saddest moment in my life. I had lost all my family members. During the funeral, a small girl came for the funeral. I didn't need a DNA test to know what she had came to do in that funeral. I knew that was my blood. That was Abby, Oscar's daughter. Fast forward, here I am, Jackie, working for Safaricom, a very big telecommunications company, working as a product manager, a job that keeps me on toes, a job that every time I hear on social media, we have chewed bundles. I need to do something. I know for sure I need to do something. Here I am. I'm married, raising a huge family. Married to this man, Franklin, very kind and loving, raising 3 teenagers and 1 2-year-old. Something I never thought would be possible. That day, when Alan passed away, I knew I was next online because it was my dad, my mom, Alan, and I knew I was the next one. That day, Oscar passed away. I knew I was a walking curse. I knew something somewhere was not right, but I had hope. I thank all my friends, who are so many. I thank all my colleagues, my family, who really helped me in my life journey. Raising Brian now in Form 3 at Upper Hill School. He chose that school because of Red Fourth and Sauti Sol. Never mind, he's never gone near stage to sing. Abby in Form 2 at Ngara. She chose that school because of the CBD. Never mind, she never uses the CBD to go to school or come back home. And Shantolin, our other special kid, now in Form 3 at St. George's, who chose that school because of State House. I don't think she's ever stepped in State House. And our acting last born, Jason, who is 2 years old. Friends, I would like to encourage you. Despite you thinking you are written off, despite you seeing this dark cloud every other time in your life, all is not lost. You can make it. And sometimes, time may never heal the wounds, For example, I remember my parents, when I'm marking all my important milestones, like when I graduated, when I got my first baby, during my wedding, and many times. But never allow it to destroy you. I believe we can all make it. Thank you.